Enjoying this beautiful water. Heard the sound from aquaholics. Into it. I'll sit down there.
A few moments later.
This is the struggle of not having a boat to dive from. We're taking it back to basics. Today we are shore diving. That's where you get geared up on the beach, walk across the sand with all your gear, get in the water, and swim out to your destination. I've already done a full workout before we actually start diving. St. Croix has some of the best beach diving available, so I'm not complaining. There's Reef closer to shore, however. We are trying to dive a certain area, which is about 600 yards out. This is the spot, so let's get started. Do you recognize this fish from a previous video? It's a sand tilefish, and there it goes burrowing into its home in the sand. The first lionfish spotted on this dive, and it's a tiny one. The little ones are a lot harder to catch. Their fins are super long and don't quite match up with their little bodies. You have to get real close and personal for the best chance of capturing these tiny morsels. You may think it's not worth the effort, but lionfish mature within just a year. In that time, a female lionfish is capable of reproducing every 4 days and can spawn anywhere from 30 to 50,000 eggs each time. Besides, they make great nuggets. JP takes a shot at a snapper and misses. Apparently it was a big one. If we weren't underwater, I think we would see the tears much clearer. The topography of this reef is ideal for lionfish. They love hanging out around structure, and the creases and crevices of the reef make a great home base. It's nice to see the diversity of the fish swimming in this area, but they can all easily fall prey to the cunning lionfish. Lionfish are voracious predators and will eat anything that can fit into their mouths. They can quickly decimate the native fish population, directly affecting the reef by preying on fish species that are critical to the health of the reef, such as parrotfish. They have no natural predators in these waters, so with their rapid reproduction rate and voracious appetite, you can see how this problem can get out of hand very quickly without the help of divers. Because they are an invasive species, there is no limit to the amount or size that we can capture on any given day. So once we spot them, they're as good as gone. Throughout this video, you will notice that lionfish are not always hanging out in the open. So if you're hunting for lionfish, be sure to look under the reef and look up to make sure they are not hanging out on the ceiling. There were 3 of them in this spot, and even if it's a bright and sunny day, it can be pretty dark under the crevices of the reef, so be sure to walk with your dive light. If you pay close attention, you will see the tail of a nurse shark. We can usually find them laying in the sand napping during the day. JP is on lionfish spotting duty and takes his job very seriously. In this team effort, he spots him, I shots him. While I'm hunting, I notice a barracuda trying to close in on me and ask for a little assistance since I'm not diving with a spare gun. When sparing lionfish, it's best to aim for the head. This method benefits you in two ways. It increases your chance of holding onto your catch and keeps the meat appealing to the eye. The head of the lionfish is tough and is a great holding point to keep the lionfish on the spare and make it easier to place it into the zookeeper. Although it's not always possible, a headshot is ideal. Their flesh is very tender and can rip easily. Secondly, if you plan on filleting your lionfish, this way you keep the meat pristine and blemish-free. It doesn't affect the taste, just the appearance. You'll notice the placement of this shot is directly into the body of the lionfish's tender meat. This poses a problem when you want to place a lionfish in the zookeeper. The flesh tears and the lionfish breaks away in the process. There are so many nooks and crannies for an escaped lionfish to hide. JP doesn't take the chance with this bigger sized lionfish and shoots it with the spare gun. Using a spare gun on a lionfish is effective but not recommended. Shooting the shaft into the fish's delicate meat and the fact that the single point of contact of the shaft does not stabilize the lionfish, causing it to have the ability to slide up and down the shaft. It's better to use a 3-prong pole spear, which keeps the lionfish from spinning around. The zookeeper is putting in some work today. Amazingly, with some persistence, I was able to recover this one. Lionfish can be found almost anywhere from the coast of North Carolina all the way down to South America. They are incredibly tolerant of fresh water, which allows them to live far up rivers and can be found in just about any depth. Because they have no real predators, lionfish will usually let a diver get very close. Most lionfish hunters use short pole spears and only need about 6 inches to a foot of distance to shoot lionfish. You may be wondering, is eating lionfish healthy? Well, the short answer is yes. In fact, eating lionfish is healthier than eating snapper or grouper because lionfish have a higher concentrate of heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids, scoring them above snapper and grouper, as well as a few other table fish commonly served in restaurants. Lionfish are also very low in heavy metals such as mercury and lead. And they say lionfish slow? This one buzzed the matrix on me. The target is greatly reduced on smaller lionfish. They are more fin and less body, so when you come, you better come good. The reef was so full of them this day. That's the sound of someone who just realized they hit the gold mine. It's a honey hole. Out of nowhere, several lionfish right next to each other. It's not something I was expecting to see, and now I can't contain my excitement. Where do we begin? We may have missed one or two, but I think we've cleared the spot. In comes the nurse shark. These guys can get downright pesky. Nurse sharks can get a bit too close for comfort, drawn by the lionfish you carry. As you can see, not all of them are sleeping during the day. And this is why I keep my head on a swivel. I spot a few more lionfish down below as I was working on starting my ascent. My time is up. I've been down for just over an hour and my tank is close to empty. The thing about beach diving is that on the way back in, you automatically complete your safety stop because the water gets shallower on the return to shore. We sometimes get questions from curious onlookers. Most people don't realize that lionfish are edible. I'm always happy to raise awareness in the community by explaining the possibilities of consuming lionfish and the reasons why they are harmful to our ecosystem. Our second dive leads us to the discovery of a mysterious suitcase. A soot-covered picture frame showcases a family's forgotten past. Who are they? How did it end up here? And most importantly, what's inside? Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next episode. Until then, stay salty, my friends.